Sunday night, just after crossing the state border into Ohio, Rob Van Dam with Sabu as his passenger was pulled over by a police officer for speeding. When the officer pulled over Rob Van Dam and Sabu, he smelled marijuana in the car. He then searched the car and found 18 grams of pot, which is just over half an ounce, and 8 Vicodin pills belonging to Rob Van Dam. He also found an unused pipe commonly used for marijuana smoking and several other unidentified prescription pills that belonged to Sabu. Both were cited for drug violations and posted bond on the scene. Both must appear in court in Ironton, Ohio on Thursday morning this week. WWE considered RVD's offense more serious since marijuana is a banned substance, according to the official wellness policy. Therefore, he was suspended for 30 days. A 30-day suspension is also stated punishment for the first positive drug test result. Sabu was fined only $1,000 as it turned out the pills he had were prescribed to him for a diagnosed medical condition, and the pipe was unused with no drug residue. Sabu has had drug addiction issues in the past, so WWE officials feared the worst when they heard what was found with the officer described as drug paraphernalia. At first, Rob Van Dam and Sabu were concerned for their jobs, Sabu especially, since he has so much less tenure and clout with the company. However, McMahon has become a fan of Sabu's style and persona. He felt he was a vital member of the ECW roster. So when the offense was relatively minor, his job was safe. In fact, McMahon approached Sabu after the ECW televised event on Tuesday and told him how he appreciated how he'd been handling the situation since Sunday and looked forward to working with him in the future. Word's gotten around that Sabu was extremely apologetic to his colleagues for what happened, realizing it shed a bad light on the entire locker room, which had a rep for being out of control and drug riddled during its ECW original prime years. Sabu had gone so far as to offer to take the rap for Rob Van Dam, arguing that Rob Van Dam has things going his way lately, and it would be a shame for both of them to lose their jobs or be heavily punished for the incident. RVD refused the offer, and the police officer likely would have contradicted any attempt to shift all the blame from Rob Van Dam to Sabu. I don't think you're running talent relations in this era, are you?
What year was it?
This would have been 2006.
I think I was. I'm
T-
not
tell me
sure.
how. Tell me how you guys handled this.
Well, we had to get it off the front page, so to speak.
Right.
And I think we handled it fine. I mean, we just followed the policy. Policy was 30-day suspension without pay.
Right.
So it's and you got to strike. So I don't know how we just followed policy, Connie. I think this is the best way I could explain it to you. Is just that where the policy was, and the talents had agreed to the policy by signing their contract. We just followed the rules.
I just hate this for Rob, man. He had so much momentum. This was such a
Yeah.
big time in his life, and now it's going to lead to 2 impromptu title changes because of the suspension and drug citation in Ohio. RVD is going to lose to Edge on Raw and Big Show on ECW. So we got the titles off of him.
Yeah. You had
And
to, Conrad. You had to.
yes,
You had to. I mean, it went public. It got out there. It made a headline. They had police involvement. All this other shit, and they shouldn't have been speeding. Look, here's the issue. Real simple. If you're not speeding, you ain't gonna get stopped.
right.
So sometimes you just bring on your own misery by being careless. And these two dudes, who I both like, if I'd been sitting in the back seat, I'd have been right there with them.
Right.
I'm just saying that it just you got to be careful. Got to be careful, and they weren't. And it was bad timing for Rob, because again, I said very early in today's show, part of the pushback at times for RVD was his advocacy uh, of of cannabis,
Right.
and that made some people uncomfortable. It's less that way now because cannabis is more, as I said earlier, and I hope this is true, at least for my business sake, that they, uh, you know, people figure out there's things they could do to. You ain't just got to get high. That's not the idea. Anyway, Rob was I felt so bad for him,
Yes.
but I was also a little pissed off. So because how do you allow yourself to get into this position? And it's just, how do you do that after all everybody had done collectively to make his deal in WWE happen? Primarily him, because of his amazing talent. But a lot of us had a dog in that fight. I certainly did.